Hey guys, pull up a chair, turn off the lights if you want the full vibe. This one's heavy, raw, and real. If you're new, welcome to the channel where we talk about the moments that break you, and the ones that rebuild you stronger. Smash that like if you're already feeling this in your gut, subscribe so you don't miss how it ends, and drop in the comments, who's the fixer in your family? Were you tuning in from right now, city, time zone? I read every single one. My name is Ethan Hayes. 29. Chicago, Lincoln Park apartment, tiny kitchen, big windows, view of nothing but brick walls and street lights. I work in risk management for a mid-size insurance firm downtown. My whole job is predicting disasters before they happen, quantifying how bad things can get. Funny, right? I spent my entire adult life missing the biggest disaster in my own house. It hit on a Wednesday in early November. Rain slapping the windows like it was pissed off. I was heating up leftover pizza, scrolling Reddit to unwind after a 12-hour day of spreadsheets and client calls. Phone buzzed once. Mom. The message was short. Brutal. No emojis, no love you, nothing to soften it. Ethan, we've talked it over as a family. You're out. Don't reach out anymore. We're done carrying this weight. Moving forward without you. I stared at the screen until it dimmed. Then I tapped it awake again. Same words. Same cold font. 29 years. Countless emergencies wired at 2 a.m. mortgage payments on their Naperville house when Dad lost his contracting gigs. Caleb's, my younger brother's, truck payments, his failed startup investments, Mom's unexpected hospital visits that always seemed to coincide with her wanting new furniture. I'd never said no. Not once. Because that's what the responsible son does. That's what keeps the family together. I set the phone down. The pizza smelled like cardboard now. The apartment was dead quiet except for the fridge clicking and rain drumming glass. My chest felt tight, not crying tight, not yet. More like someone had wrapped steel bands around my ribs and was slowly tightening them. I didn't text back. Not what did I do? Not please explain. I just opened my banking app. The family joint account I'd created in my name 4 years ago, to streamline things, loaded up. Auto payments still running like clockwork, $2,100 monthly mortgage on the house I'd co-signed for, utilities, Caleb's $450 truck note, Mom's supplemental insurance, even Dad's fantasy football league dues he swore were networking. I scrolled the history. Over $192,000 transferred in 7 years. Not including the times I Venmo'd Caleb cash because his account was frozen again. Then I saw it. The account recovery email had been changed. To Caleb's Gmail. Timestamp, October 18th. 3 weeks before Mom's text. They'd locked me out of my own safety net before they even told me I was surplus. Something cracked inside. Not loud. Quiet. Like ice on a lake finally giving way under too much weight. I didn't sleep. Instead, at 3:17 a.m., I started a new Google Sheet. Title, The Real Cost, E. Hayes. Columns, Date. Description. Amount. Recipient. Notes. I pulled statements, screenshots, old texts. Mortgage alone, $2,100 times 48 months equals over $100,000. Caleb's truck, $32,400. Mom's medical co-pays and procedures, $28,700. Random emergencies, roof after hail, Dad's bad knee surgery, Caleb's security deposit when he moved out then back and then out again. Total by 4:45 a.m., $192,847. I leaned back on the couch. Streetlight orange bleeding through blinds. My hands were shaking, not from anger yet. From math. Pure, undeniable math. Then the memories flooded in, uninvited. Age 15. Summer. I worked construction with Dad every day, carrying lumber in 98-degree heat while Caleb went to music camp. Mom said, Caleb has talent, Ethan. You have reliability. Reliability. Like it was a consolation prize. Age 19. College. I commuted 2 hours each way to save money, worked nights stocking shelves. Sent half my paycheck home because things are tight. Caleb got a new gaming PC because he needed it for school projects. Age 24. First real job. I bought them a used minivan when theirs died. No thank you. Just about time you stepped up. Age 27. Grandma's passing. Pancreatic cancer. She was gone in 5 months. In her will, $94,000 education/emergency trust. She named me sole trustee. Ethan won't squander it, she told the lawyer while Mom sat silent. Caleb asked for $25,000 6 months later for a dropshipping empire. I said no, trust terms were crystal, education or verified medical only. He called me selfish. Mom called me controlling. Your grandma didn't mean to tie our hands, honey. I never touched a dime for myself. Not tuition reimbursement. Not my own emergency fund. Nothing. Back in the present, rain still falling. I opened the trust portal. Logged in as trustee. Recent activity, Caleb tried a $12,000 withdrawal 2 days ago. Denied. Of course. But the attempt was there. Timestamped. Logged. They weren't just cutting me off. They were trying to erase my name from everything I'd built for them. By sunrise, gray Chicago light creeping in, I felt something new. Not hate. Not yet. Resolve. Like a switch flipping from endure to enough. I typed one reply to Mom. Understood. Sent. No period. No caps. Just 2 words that felt like closing a book I'd been forced to read for too long. If this already has your blood pressure up, if you've ever been the one everyone leans on until they decide you're in the way, comment below. Tell me your version. Did you keep giving? Or did you finally walk? Because what happened in the next 48 hours, that's when the real storm started. The morning after Mom's text, Chicago woke up under a slate-gray sky. I hadn't slept more than 20 minutes. Coffee tasted like battery acid, but I downed it anyway. My laptop was still open on the kitchen counter, spreadsheet glaring back at me like an accusation. $192,847. A number that didn't just represent money, it represented years I'd never get back. I needed proof, not feelings. Evidence. Because feelings get dismissed in my family. Receipts don't. First thing, the joint account. I logged into the bank portal using my old credentials, still worked, thank God. Transaction history loaded. Every mortgage payment, every utility transfer, every time Caleb's truck payment cleared because I'd set it to auto. Then I clicked account settings, notifications and contacts. There it was. Primary email changed October 18th at 3:42 p.m. The same one he used to beg for, just $500 more every few months. But it got worse. I scrolled to authorized users. My name was still listed, but the secondary contact phone had been swapped to his number. And the security questions? Changed. Favorite childhood pet? They put Fluffy the hamster, Caleb's, not mine. I'd never even had a hamster. They'd been prepping to lock me out completely. The text wasn't impulsive. It was the final act in a script they'd been writing for weeks. My stomach turned. Not nausea, cold fury starting to simmer. I screenshot everything. Timestamps. IP logs were available. Then I moved to the mortgage lender's portal.
I'd co-signed the Naperville house loan 5 years ago. Mom and Dad's credit was trashed from old medical debt and Dad's side gigs that never paid taxes. I had perfect credit, fresh out of grad school. Mom had cried on the phone. Ethan, it's the family home. Someday it'll be yours and Caleb's. Just help us get in the door. I signed. No lawyer. No side agreement. Because family doesn't need paperwork. Biggest mistake of my life. The portal showed pending refinance application. Submitted 3 weeks ago. Documents uploaded. New appraisal. Income verification and a title amendment request to remove me as co-borrower/co-owner. I clicked the attachment. Signature page. Bottom right, my name. But the signature wasn't mine. I zoomed in. My real signature has a sharp upward flick on the H in haze, quick and angular from signing 1,000 work forms. This one? Rounded, loopy, almost childish. Someone had practiced it. Not well enough. Submitted by Caleb Hayes, listed as family representative, authorized by primary borrower. 3 days before Mom's text. The timeline clicked into place like a lock tumbling. Step 1. Forge my signature to try stripping me from the deed. Step 2. Change contact info on the joint account so I wouldn't see alerts. Step 3. Mom sends the "you're out" text to make it emotional, not legal, so I'd be too hurt to check paperwork. They weren't disowning me out of anger. They were surgically removing me from the foundation I'd paid to build. I sat there, rain tapping the window like impatient fingers. The apartment smelled of burnt coffee and damp drywall. My pulse thumped in my ears. Then Grandma's trust. I logged into the fiduciary portal. Sole trustee access still mine. Activity log. Caleb attempted $18,000 withdrawal 4 days ago. Reason: business startup costs. Denied automatically. Comment from the system: trustee approval required. Terms restrict to verified education/medical. He'd tried again yesterday. Same amount. Denied. But here's the kicker. An internal note from the trust officer, dated last week. Received call from Caleb Hayes requesting trustee change. Informed him only current trustee, Ethan Hayes, can initiate. Caller became agitated. Hung up. They weren't just after the house. They wanted Grandma's money too. The one thing I protected. By noon, I was shaking. Not fear. Adrenaline. The kind you get when you realize the game isn't over. It's just starting. I called my buddy Marcus from work. He's a senior forensic accountant, sees fraud for breakfast. I didn't tell him everything yet. Just, hypothetically, if someone forged a signature on a title doc, what's the play? He didn't laugh. Hypothetically? You freeze everything. Notify the lender immediately. File affidavit of forgery. And if it's family, get a trust and estates attorney yesterday. He texted me a name 10 minutes later. Rebecca Lang, family law and real estate litigator. Downtown Chicago. She's ruthless but fair. Tell her I sent you. I booked a consult for the next morning. That night I couldn't eat. Just paced. Replayed every time Mom said, "Caleb's sensitive. You're strong." Every time Dad looked away when Caleb lied about where money went. Every holiday where I paid for the turkey, the gifts, the liquor, and got a thanks that felt like an afterthought. Around 2 a.m., I opened my voice memo app. Habit from work. Record important calls. Found one from 6 weeks ago. Caleb had called to talk. Sounded almost nice. I hit play. His voice, casual, wheedling. "Look, bro, you're killing it up there in the city. You don't need the headache of the house or Grandma's trust. Just sign off, let Mom handle it. Wouldn't it be easier? No more payments, no drama. We'd all be freer." Then the line that iced my blood. "Honestly, Ethan, I just need your name gone from everything. Then things can move forward for real." I'd laughed it off at the time. Told him no. Hung up, but the app had auto-recorded. Disclosure beep at the start. He either didn't notice or didn't care. I backed it up. 3 clouds. External drive. Email to myself titled Backup, Do Not Delete. That recording wasn't just evidence. It was a confession. Friday morning. Rain stopped. Sky still heavy. I walked into Rebecca Lang's office in the Loop. Glass, steel, view of the river. Smelled like fresh printer paper and expensive perfume. I laid everything out. Spreadsheet. Screenshots. Forged signature side by side with real one. Trust logs. The recording. She listened without interrupting. Then leaned forward. "Ethan," she said, "you're not the villain here. You're the vault they've been cracking for years. And they just got caught." She outlined the moves. Immediate letter to the mortgage lender. Fraud notification. Freeze refinance. As trustee, full lock on Grandma's fund. No distributions without my written, notarized approval. Cease all auto payments from my end. Let the primary borrowers, Mom and Dad, carry it, or watch it collapse. Cease and desist to the family. All future contact through counsel. Then the kicker. Forgery of a deed-related document in Illinois? Felony territory, if we push it. But we don't have to. The threat alone might be enough. I signed the engagement letter. Felt like signing my own emancipation papers. Walking out, cold wind off Lake Michigan hit my face. For the first time in years, my steps felt lighter. Not because I'd won yet, because I'd finally stopped losing on purpose. If you've ever caught someone red-handed after years of gaslighting, drop in the comments. Did you confront right away? Or did you wait, like I did, until the trap is set? Because next the call started, and the mask came off completely. Saturday morning after I left Rebecca's office, Chicago felt different. The wind off the lake cut sharper, like it was trying to wake me up. I walked home along the Riverwalk, Gray water, joggers and neon, tourists taking selfies like the city wasn't slowly suffocating me from the inside. My phone stayed quiet for exactly 4 hours and 23 minutes after I sent that "understood" text to Mom. Then it exploded. First came the text. Caleb, rapid fire, no punctuation. Bro, WTF. Undo whatever you did to the bank. Mom is freaking out. This isn't funny, Ethan. Call me now. I let them stack. Didn't open them fully. Just watch the notifications pile like unpaid bills. Then Mom. Longer blocks. Ethan James Hayes, pick up the phone. This is your mother. The bank is saying the refinance is frozen. They mentioned fraud. Fraud, Ethan. What did you do? We're your family. You can't just abandon us like this. Your father hasn't slept. Caleb is a mess. Call me. Dad next. One message. Simple. Heartbreaking in its simplicity. Son. Please. I stared at that word, son, until my eyes burned. He hadn't called me that since I was 12. Back when I still believed being useful meant being loved. I didn't reply to any of them. Instead, I forwarded the whole thread to Rebecca with one line. They're panicking. What now? She replied in 8 minutes. Let them panic. We move Monday. I'm drafting the cease and desist and fraud notice today. Stay off direct communication. They'll try guilt, then threats, then tears. Document everything. Sunday was worse. Caleb called at 7:14 a.m. I let it ring. Voicemail. His voice cracked on playback, half angry, half scared. Ethan, look. Man, I don't know what you think happened, but this is crazy. Mom didn't mean the text. She was upset. We all were. Just fix the bank thing, okay? The house payment bounced. Insurance is threatening to cancel. We're screwed without you. You're the only one who can. I deleted it mid-sentence. Mom called 3 times that afternoon. Each voicemail longer, more desperate. First, this is childish, Ethan. You're punishing us over nothing. Call me so we can talk like adults. Second, I didn't raise you to be vindictive. After everything I've done, raising you, supporting your college, even when we couldn't afford it, this is how you repay me? Supporting my college? I took loans, worked 2 jobs, sent them money from both. Third, sobbing now. Real tears or performance, I couldn't tell anymore. Please, honey. Your dad's blood pressure is through the roof. Caleb's talking about moving back in because he can't afford rent without the truck payment. We're losing everything. You're breaking this family apart. Is that what you want? I listened to that last one sitting on my fire escape, November wind whipping my hoodie. The city lights blurred below. My throat closed up. For a second, just one, I almost dialed back. The old reflex. Fix it. Apologize. Absorb the blame. Keep the peace. But then I remembered the forged signature. The changed email. The trust withdrawal attempts. The recorded call where Caleb said he needed my name, gone from everything. Monday morning. Rebecca's paralegal emailed 3 PDFs before 9 a.m. Fraud notification to the mortgage lender. Side-by-side signatures. My affidavit swearing I never signed the amendment. Submission metadata pointing to Caleb. Automatic payment termination notice from me as co-signer. Effective next cycle. Primary borrowers now fully responsible. Cease and desist letter to Mom, Dad, and Caleb. All future contact through counsel. Withdrawal from all joint financial obligations. Warning. Continued unauthorized use of my identity could result in civil and criminal action. She CC'd me on the send. Subject lines clean. Attachments devastating. By 11:30 a.m., the lender confirmed receipt. Refinance frozen. Fraud investigation opened. Deed unchanged until resolved. I sat in my cubicle downtown, staring at code on my screen but seeing nothing. My hands were steady for the first time in days. Then the unknown number called. Attorney, Gregory Vance, representing Donna and Raymond Hayes. Rebecca took it on speaker in her office that afternoon. I sat across from her, folder open. Vance's voice was smooth, practiced. Ms. Lang, my clients are extremely distressed. This appears to be a misunderstanding. We'd like to resolve this amicably, perhaps a mediated family meeting? Rebecca didn't blink. Your client submitted a document bearing my client's forged signature to remove him from a property he co-owns and has paid over $100,000 toward. They changed contact information on accounts in his name without consent. They attempted unauthorized withdrawals from a trust he solely administers. There is no misunderstanding. There is evidence. Silence on the line. Then, we were not aware of any forgery. Rebecca, then you should speak with your clients. Specifically Caleb Hayes, who submitted the form. More silence. We'd still like to meet. Face to face. Clear the air. Rebecca looked at me. I nodded once.
Friday, she said.
My conference room. 2 p.m. All parties present. No interruptions during presentation. Documentation required for any claims. If voices are raised, meeting ends. Vance agreed quickly. Too quickly. They were desperate. I left her office feeling like I'd just loaded a gun I didn't want to fire, but knew I would if they forced my hand. That night, alone in my apartment, I poured a whiskey I rarely touch. The burn matched the one in my chest. I thought about Dad. How he'd always deferred to Mom. How he'd look away when Caleb took credit for things I did. How he once told me, quietly after too many beers, "You're the glue, Ethan. Don't ever change." But glue gets stepped on. Eventually it hardens. Or it gets scraped away. Friday was coming. The whole family in one room. Evidence on the table. No more hiding behind texts or voicemails. If you've ever had to face the people who raised you across a conference table instead of a dinner one, comment below. Were you terrified? Angry? Because what happened in that room changed everything. And not in the way they expected.
Friday arrived like a storm you've been watching on radar for days. I woke at 5:30 a.m. No alarm. Just eyes snapping open. Heart already racing. I showered, dressed simple, dark button down, no tie. Professional, not performative. Rebecca had said, dress like you're going to a board meeting, not a funeral. You're not grieving. You're settling accounts. I left the apartment at 12:45 p.m. Walked the L to the Loop. Cold wind sliced through my coat. Chicago in November feels like the city is exhaling frost. My folder was in my messenger bag, thick, tabbed, labeled. Spreadsheet printouts. Signature comparisons. Trust logs. The USB drive with Caleb's recorded call tucked in an envelope marked audio evidence, timestamped. Rebecca's office smelled like coffee and polished wood. Conference room, long glass table, 6 chairs, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the river. Gray water churning below. She was already there, laptop open, calm as stone. "You ready?" she asked. I nodded. I've been ready for years. Just didn't know it. They arrived at 1:58 p.m. Mom first. Donna Hayes. Navy cardigan, hair pulled tight, lips pressed thin. She walked in like she owned the room, but her eyes flicked to my folder immediately. No hello. She took the chair farthest from me. Dad next. Raymond. Gray hoodie under a jacket, shoulders slumped. He looked 10 years older than last Christmas. Met my eyes for half a second, something raw there, then looked away. Sat beside Mom. Caleb last. Hoodie, jeans, red-rimmed eyes like he'd been crying or hadn't slept. He sat next to Mom, reached for her hand under the table. Classic move. Victim positioning. Gregory Vance followed. Gray suit, expensive watch. Shook Rebecca's hand firmly, nodded at me neutrally. Sat at the head of the table like a referee. Rebecca opened. Voice even, no warmth. This meeting is to address serious financial and legal matters. Mr. Hayes will present first. No interruptions. Questions after. If voices rise, we adjourn. She nodded to me. I opened the folder. Placed 5 copies of the spreadsheet in the center. Page 1, $192,847. That's what I've contributed to this family over the past 7 years. Mortgage, $100,800. Caleb's truck, $32,400. Medical and emergencies, $28,700. Utilities, insurance, random wires. Every line item documented. Dates. Amounts. Screenshots. Receipts. I let the number hang. Mom scanned the page. Her finger trembled slightly on the edge. I didn't do this under duress. I did it because I was asked. Because I thought family meant showing up. No one ever said thank you. Not once. But I kept going. Until the text. I slid the next pages forward. Signature comparison. Left, my actual signature from the original mortgage, 5 years ago. Right, the amendment submitted to remove me from the deed. I did not sign this. I did not authorize it. It was submitted electronically by Caleb Hayes, listed as authorized family representative. 3 days before the text telling me I was out. Caleb shifted. That's not. Rebecca raised one finger. Mr. Hayes isn't finished. Dad's hand went to his forehead. Mom stared at the signatures. Then at Caleb. I continued. The refinance is frozen. Bank opened a fraud investigation. The joint account contact was changed to Caleb's email 3 weeks prior. Attempts were made to withdraw from Grandma's trust, $18,000 last week. Denied. Because I'm sole trustee. And the terms are ironclad. Silence thick enough to choke on. I reached for the envelope. Pulled the USB. One more thing. A recorded call from 6 weeks ago. My work app autorecords long family calls. Disclosure tone plays at the start. Caleb, you either didn't hear it or didn't care. I plugged it into Rebecca's speaker. Hit play. Caleb's voice filled the room. Casual. Coaxing. You don't need the headache of the house or Grandma's trust. Just sign off, let Mom handle it. Honestly, Ethan. I just need your name gone from everything. Then things can move forward for real. I stopped it. The room froze. Mom turned to Caleb slowly. You said that? Caleb's mouth opened. Closed. It was out of context. I was frustrated. I didn't mean. Rebecca cut in. The context is a forged signature submitted shortly after. A changed account email. A text disowning my client. It's not out of context. It's a pattern. Mom's voice cracked. Caleb, did you forge Ethan's name? He looked at her, eyes wide. Mom, I was trying to help. The refinance would have given us breathing room. Ethan's always so busy, he wasn't using his share anyway. Dad spoke for the first time. Quiet. Broken. You forged his signature. On our house. Caleb stammered. I thought if his name wasn't on it, he wouldn't have to pay anymore. It'd be easier for everyone. Mom pulled her hand away from his. Tears now. Real ones. I looked at her. You sent the text. You removed me from the family chat the same day. You knew the refinance was pending without telling me. You chose to believe whatever story made it easier. She whispered, I didn't know about the signature. I swear. Maybe not. But you knew everything else. And you never asked me my side. Not once. Dad's shoulders shook. Silent crying. I closed the folder. Sound of it snapping shut echoed. Here's what happens now. The trust stays locked. I'm stepping down as trustee next month, transferring to a professional fiduciary. Every withdrawal will be audited against Grandma's terms. No more business ideas. No exceptions. The mortgage, I'm no longer cosigner effective next cycle. You have 60 days to refinance independently or sell. I won't make another payment. Regarding the forgery, I'm not pressing criminal charges. Yet. But all evidence is preserved. If any more unauthorized attempts happen, that changes. I'm done being the foundation for a house that never had room for me. I stood. Caleb whispered, Ethan, please. We're sorry. I looked at him. Sorry isn't a signature on a deed amendment. Sorry isn't changing my account behind my back. Sorry is what you say when you're caught. Not before. I turned to Dad. I love you. That hasn't changed. But love doesn't mean I keep bleeding so you don't have to feel the wound. To Mom, you told me I was out. I'm respecting that. I picked up my bag. Nodded to Rebecca. Walked to the door. Dad's voice, raw. Ethan. I paused. Didn't turn. 60 days, I said. Use them. Door clicked shut. Heels echoed down the hall. Steady. Not rushed. Outside, cold air hit like absolution. I didn't cry. Not then. But something inside me, something that had been knotted for 29 years, finally loosened. If you've ever walked out of a room knowing you'd never go back the same way, tell me in the comments. Did the guilt hit later? Or did relief come first? Because the fallout, that started the second I hit the sidewalk. The moment I stepped out of Rebecca's building, the wind off the Chicago River hit like a slap. I stood on the sidewalk for a full minute, bag slung over my shoulder, watching cabs blur past. My phone was already vibrating, unknown numbers, probably the family attorney or extended relatives getting looped in. I silenced it. Walked to the L station. Rode home in silence, staring at my reflection in the dark window. The first real fallout hit Monday morning. Rebecca forwarded the lender's response, refinance permanently denied. Fraud flag confirmed. Deed unchanged, my name still on it. But as co-signer, my withdrawal notice triggered immediate default notice to the primary borrowers. Mom and Dad had 30 days to catch up on the missed payment or face acceleration. Their credit couldn't carry it alone. Not even close. Tuesday, trust transfer initiated. I signed the docs to hand off Grandma's $94,000 to a neutral fiduciary firm. No more withdrawal attempts possible without audited proof of education or medical need. Caleb's business startup dreams died quietly in an inbox he'd never access again. Wednesday, insurance cancellation notice arrived at their house. Supplemental health coverage, gone in 30 days. Mom would learn what marketplace plans actually cost when no one else is footing the bill. Thursday afternoon, the calls started again. This time, I let a few go to voicemail. Listened later, alone in my apartment with the lights off. Dad first. Voice thin, almost whispering. Ethan, the bank letter came. 90 days to refinance or sell. Your mom's crying every night. I know we messed up. I should have asked questions sooner. I should have seen what Caleb was doing. I'm sorry, son. I really am. But if there's any way, even a few more months on the cosign. I didn't call back. Mom next. Horse. No performance tears this time. I didn't know about the signature, Ethan. I swear on everything. Caleb said he was handling paperwork to make things easier. I believed him. I always believe him. But I never meant to lose you. You're my firstborn. Please, talk to me. We can fix this. I saved the message. Not for evidence. For proof, to myself, that even now, she couldn't say the words that mattered. I was wrong. I chose wrong. I hurt you. Caleb's voicemail was last. Short. Angry. You won, okay? House is probably getting foreclosed. Trust is locked. I can't even make rent. Hope you're happy. You always acted like you were better than us. Guess you proved it. I deleted it without replying. That night I sat on my couch, city lights flickering through the blinds. No pizza. No TV. Just quiet. And in that quiet, the grief finally arrived, not loud sobs, but a slow, heavy ache. Like mourning someone who died years ago but whose funeral you never attended. I mourned the family I'd tried to build. The Thanksgivings where I paid for everything and sat at the end of the table. The Christmases where Caleb got the new console and I got a thanks for coming. The birthdays they forgot because things were hectic. But mostly, I mourned the version of me who thought love was measured in dollars sent and problems solved. That version had died in Rebecca's conference room. And burying him hurt more than I expected. 2 weeks later, they listed the house. Rebecca handled the paperwork. I signed a quitclaim deed, real signature this time, releasing my interest. No equity taken. The $100,800 I'd paid toward the mortgage? Written off mentally as tuition. The most expensive lesson, never cosign without ironclad agreements. Never assume blood means loyalty. The house sold in 5 weeks. Quick market. Mom and Dad moved to a small rental in the suburbs. Caleb crashed with a friend. No more Naperville dream home. No more fantasy of family equity built on my back. Extended family started reaching out. Aunt Karen texted, heard things got bad. Your mom says you're being harsh. Cousin Mike called, dude, forgery? That's messed up. You okay? I didn't explain. Didn't need to. The truth was doing its own traveling. 3 months passed. January frost on the windows. I woke up one Saturday to actual sunlight, not the gray haze of November. First time in years I didn't check the family account balance first thing. My savings had grown. Emergency fund solid. Student loans shrinking faster than planned. I booked a solo trip to Colorado for February, skiing, mountains, no one to answer to. First vacation not tied to helping someone move or covering a bill. Caleb and I hadn't spoken since the meeting. Mom called once, December. Voice softer. How are you, honey? Fine, I said. Long pause. Okay. Just wanted to hear your voice. 90 seconds total. No guilt trip. No ask. It wasn't reconciliation. It was a truce. Enough for now. Dad texted on my birthday. Simple. Happy birthday, Ethan. Thinking of you. No emoji. No plea. Just acknowledgement. Small. But his. I stared at it a long time. Replied. Thanks, Dad. That was it. The apartment felt bigger now. Not empty, spacious. I cooked meals I actually liked. Read books without one eye on my phone. Met friends without apologizing for being busy helping family. Marcus from work bought me coffee one afternoon. You look lighter, he said. I shrugged. Turns out carrying the world isn't mandatory. He nodded. Most people never learn that. I smiled, small, real. If you've ever stopped being the safety net and found the ground still held you, tell me in the comments. Did the silence feel like freedom? Or did it take time to stop waiting for the next crisis call? Because the final piece, the one that sealed it all, came quietly. No drama. Just truth settling into place. Months blurred into spring. Chicago thawed. The lake turned blue again instead of steel. I started running along the path near my apartment, not to escape anything, just because I could. No phone buzzing in my pocket. No emergency text waiting when I got back. The house in Naperville was gone. Sold. Money went to Mom and Dad for their rental deposit and first few months. I didn't ask for a dime back. That chapter was closed. Cleanly. Caleb moved to an apartment in the west suburbs. Got a job at a music store, part-time, but steady. Last I heard from a cousin, he stopped posting the flashy blessed stories on social. Reality has a way of muting the filters. Mom and Dad downsized hard. 2-bedroom rental. No backyard. No extra rooms for grandkids they don't have yet. Mom started working part-time at a local bakery, something she hadn't done since I was a kid. Dad's health stabilized once the stress of payments lifted, but the guilt seemed to settle in its place. They don't call often anymore. When they do, it's short. Careful. Like they're afraid one wrong word will end even the fragile thread we have left. Dad texted on Mother's Day. Not to Mom, to me. Wish we could all be together today. Miss you, son. I stared at it for 10 minutes. Typed back. Miss parts of it too. Take care, Dad. That was honest. I missed the idea of family, the laughs, the shared meals, the safety. But not the version where I was the only one bleeding to keep it alive. Mom sent a card for my next birthday. Handwritten. Simple. Ethan, I'm sorry. Not just for the money. For not seeing you. Really seeing you. I hope someday we can talk without walls. Love, Mom. I kept it in a drawer. Not framed. Not burned. Just there. A reminder that apologies don't erase damage, but they can mark the start of something different. Maybe. As for me? I'm different. My savings account has a balance that doesn't make me nauseous when I look at it. I paid off the last of my student loans 6 months ago, quietly, no fanfare. I travel now. Short trips. A weekend in Asheville. A week in Seattle. Places I always wanted to see but never did because what if they need something? I date casually. No rush. No guilt about not being available 24/7. Work is still risk management, predicting disasters, but now I spot them in my own life too. I set boundaries like guardrails. Not walls. Guardrails. They let me move forward without crashing. Marcus and I grab beers sometimes. He says I smile more. I tell him it's because I finally stopped carrying everyone else's load. One night, alone on my balcony, city lights stretching out like stars on the ground, I thought about the old me. The one who answered every call on the first ring. Who wired money before asking why. Who believed family first meant me last. I don't hate that guy. He kept people afloat when they were drowning. But he was drowning too. And no one threw him a line. So I threw one to myself. That's the real revenge, not destruction. Not watching them struggle, though part of me won't lie, it felt justified. The revenge is living well without apology. Is waking up and knowing every dollar earned stays mine. Is looking in the mirror and not seeing someone else's emergency reflected back. If you're the one who's always been the fixer, the giver, the reliable one, listen to this. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to say no without explanation. You are allowed to protect your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Family isn't a debt you owe forever. It's not a blank check signed in blood. It's supposed to be mutual. When it stops being mutual, it stops being family. It becomes obligation. And obligation isn't love. I don't know if my family will ever fully understand what happened. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Either way, I'm not waiting for their enlightenment to live my life. I'm already living it. So I'm asking you, the same question I asked myself that first night after the text. If the people who were supposed to love you unconditionally told you to leave, would you beg to stay? Or would you finally let them see what the world looks like without you holding it all together? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Tell me, were you the Ethan in your story? Did you walk away? Did it hurt? Did it free you? Where are you watching from right now? Time zone, city? Hit like if this hit home. Subscribe if you want more stories like this, real ones, raw ones, the kind that remind you you're not alone. There's another video linked in the description, a guy who was told he'd never amount to anything by his own parents, and how he built an empire just to prove them wrong in the quietest, most satisfying way. Thank you for staying with me through all 6 parts. Seriously. If any of this spoke to you, if you've ever felt invisible while paying everyone else's way, I see you. You're not invisible here. Take care of yourself first. You've earned it. I'll see you in the next one.